So before we start the panel discussion today, which is on the topic of India as the global destination for higher education, I would like to invite Honorable Union Minister General V.K. Singh ji to address the gathering and say a few words of wisdom. General V.K. Singh ji.
All our panelists on the dais and all those who are still here to listen to many things that are happening. Let me first of all congratulate the Dialogue India for this academia conclave. और उसका एक कारण है, जो चीज़ें आप डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, जो चीज़ें आप यहाँ पर मंच से बोल रहे हैं या सुन रहे हैं, और ख़ासकर जो लोग यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं, जो शिक्षा के क्षेत्र से संबंधित हैं, इनमें से जो आपके विचार हैं, जो यहाँ पे एक्सप्रेस किए गए, जो चीज़ अच्छी लगती है, if we can implement it, it will make a difference. It will make a difference to the students, it will make a difference to the society, and it will make a difference to the nation. So having said this, let me share a few thoughts that I have. First of all, I think the way our educational system has been, thankfully the new education policy has come in, and we will be able to change many things. We'll be able to bring into the curricula many things that should have been there. और मैं आपको एक छोटा सा एक एग्जाम्पल देता हूँ. I hope it is okay if I remain bilingual and Hindustani. Okay, एक मैं आपको छोटा सा एग्जाम्पल देता हूँ. जो मेरे हम उम्र हैं या मेरे आसपास के हैं, उनको याद होगा जो हमारी पुरानी जो टेक्स्ट बुक्स होती थी, उसके अंदर कहीं ना कहीं आपको राष्ट्र के बारे में, आपको अपनी संस्कृति के बारे में कुछ ना कुछ जरूर होता था. अब वो कैसे था, you can think about it. But after some period, it just disappeared. After that, it was only factual. It was not something which will happen. Let me illustrate it with an example. सुभद्रा कुमारी चौहान की एक कविता है, हर बोले मुँह से सुनी, जो कि लक्ष्मीबाई के लिए है. अभी किसी टेक्स्ट बुक में मिलती है क्या? नहीं मिलती ना, लुप्त हो गई. मैं आपको अनेक एग्जाम्पल दे सकता हूं. कुछ चीजें ऐसी थी जो कि बच्चों के मन के अंदर बैठ जाती थी और उनको अपने देश के लिए कोई प्रेरणा देती थी. I think somewhere it is gone. In our exuberance to include many things, the textbooks became encyclopedia, if I can say that. And the reason is very simple. We started looking at, देखिए ये किताब लिखनी है, इसके लिए हमको PhD या उस सब्जेक्ट का उससे भी बढ़िया कोई चाहिए. No, when a PhD wants to write for a child, it will go wrong. So don't take me amiss, but I'm expressing what I feel. And let me also tell you that as a child in school, one thing which has remained with me is what one of my teachers said: a good student never makes a good teacher. Think about it. It's always a bad student who makes a good teacher, because he understands the problem of a bad student. A good student is, अरे आपको समझ में क्यों नहीं आ रहा, इतना सिंपल तो है, इसका ऐसे करो, स्क्वायर निकालो, इसको ऐसे कर दो, मल्टीप्लाई कर दो, आंसर ये है. But a bad student will actually understand why the child is not understanding. And that is why any subject if you pick up, whether it is sciences, whether it is humanities, the base that was created by a simplistic module at that time was very, very sound. Your foundation was very strong. As the time has gone by, in our bid to include many things, we've included a little bit of everything. I think somewhere when you examine, it's not that the students are not good today, they are far better than probably what my and your generation is. They're far smarter, they're far better. But when you come to academics and the zeal to explore, that somehow the policy, the curriculum, the way of or the methodology and the pedagogy all combined together, it didn't lend that kind of a weight where a child gets the enthusiasm to explore, experiment, make mistakes, and learn. You see some of the countries outside and how they go about it. Let's take US, because you do find that it still remains a superpower. What is the system of education out there? Till the school level, it's simple, not very expensive. The emphasis at the school level is to teach the child how to read books, how to explore, how to collate material, and how to analyze it. That's all. So they get papers to write, and the teachers are teachers, so they are able to tell them, ये आपने cut paste किया है या अपना दिमाग इसके अंदर लगाया है. And when they go to college or the higher education, that is the time they really have to work hard, very, very hard. हमारे यहाँ उल्टा है. स्कूल के अंदर सब बहुत काम करते हैं, कॉलेज के अंदर जाके वो फ्री हो जाता. अटेंड करना करो, नहीं करना मत करो, थोड़ी बहुत चीज़ें देख लो, उसके अंदर पास हो जाओगे आप. And the college is through, you've got a degree, and that is the end of it. Why do people send their children abroad? If they send them for masters, they actually come back as masters of that subject. That is something which we need to ponder on. That is something which the academia needs to work on. I think we will create a better nation if we can imbibe some of these things all over the world which are good. There's no point in reinventing the wheel. If the wheel is already existing, let's use it. So, I think we need a change in delineating what we want to do at the school level and what is it that we want the colleges to do. Unfortunately, our college education system doesn't put much of a strain on the child. All the strain is at the school level. और एक बार वहाँ से बच्चा आ जाता है, he feels he's a free bird now. He can do what he wants to in the college. I think there is a need for us to re-look at the system. The other part is in higher education. Are we providing the means for a child to grow, to experiment, to do things which will take him into on a vocational path or an expert path later on? If somebody wants to graduate and then do things, see, our problem is that everything has got linked to the degree. And that is where the problem starts. भाई आप तो graduate नहीं है. It doesn't matter how you have got that degree. पर आप graduate नहीं है तो आपको नौकरी नहीं मिल सकती. I think that has to change. And people who go into higher education need to then be creative to become the people who lead the society and lead the nation, whatever subject they choose. Otherwise it is of no use. And that is why, which today in the NEP is happening, where more and more options are being given. At the college level, much more options have to be given. Let me again explain a little bit. Even in the armed forces, I went and attended the War College in USA. We had 99 electives. After the compulsory subjects, we had 99 electives. And there were subjects like listening. There were subjects like public speaking. There were subjects like negotiations. You could choose any elective that you wanted to, so that you can add on to your skills. And each elective meant a certain amount of time that you had to devote from your time. You took more electives, it means you didn't have time, because you'd be constantly busy. So I think if we can bring about a suitable change in the system, it will benefit the academic field, it will benefit the material that you are going to prepare, and it will benefit the nation as a whole. Now with these words, I let the floor be open for any ideas and any thoughts that keep about. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your word of wisdom. I would like to tell the audience that General V.K. Singh साहब एक 4-स्टार जनरल रहे हैं, और ऐसे 4-स्टार जनरल जिनके परिवार के लगभग सभी बुजुर्गों में दादाजी से लेके, पिताजी से लेके, और मेरे ख्याल से नाना जी भी सभी आर्मी में रहे, बड़े अब उस पे रहे। और हम तमाम इसकी बातें करते हैं। Education is not just about, reading the academic books, etc. Education is also about knowing your own leaders, knowing your own people, So that is very necessary. So I would like to ask a few personal questions to you today to throw some light about how, कि पिताजी भी, दादाजी भी, नाना जी भी, बल्कि पिताजी के 5 भाई, तो 5 के 5 आर्मी में। थोड़ा सा अपने परिवार के बारे में और थोड़ा उसके बारे में बताएं। इस तरह के मौके बहुत कम मिलते हैं। हम लोग हायर एजुकेशन पे चर्चा अभी कर लेंगे।
मैं सोच रहा था कि शायद आप बाकी पैनल वालों से भी कुछ पूछेंगे। ओके। जैसे आपने कहा, बेसिकली फौजी परिवार है, फौज का कुछ रंग ज़्यादा चढ़ा हुआ है। दादाजी और शायद दादाजी के पहले परदादा, मैं दादाजी को भी नहीं देखा तो परदादा को देखने का सवाल नहीं उठता। दे आर ऑल मिलिट्री पीपल, एंड father was there, my daughter is married to an army officer, so generally I think it runs in the family. But that doesn't mean that the pursuit for other subjects is not there. Let me, I think, because a lot of people think army में जाने के बाद जो है हेलमेट लगा लेते हैं, उसके बाद ना कुछ दिखाई देता ना सुनाई देता। ऐसा नहीं है। जितनी पढ़ाई मेरे ख्याल से फौज में करनी पड़ती है, उतनी कहीं नहीं करनी पड़ती, कहीं नहीं करनी पड़ती। और मुझे भी जब मैं नेशनल डिफेंस एकेडमी गए, गलत फहमी थी कि अब तो पढ़ाई पूरी हो गई, अब तो मौज है। नेशनल डिफेंस एकेडमी में चले गए, वहां पे जाते ही जितनी बुक्स उन्होंने दी मेरे को स्कूल में भी कभी नहीं मिली। एंड वी वर रीडिंग ऑल काइंड्स ऑफ सब्जेक्ट्स, technical subjects, science, you name it, it was there. And with that, you were also learning certain things which were vocational in nature. One learnt engineering drawing, आज भी कई बार जब हम प्लान व्यू और उसका एलिवेशन बनाते हैं तो कहते हैं जी क्या आपने आर्किटेक्चर पढ़ा है क्या? मैंने कहा नहीं भाई, हमें तो इंजीनियरिंग ड्राइंग सिखाई गई थी, वो भी नेशनल डिफेंस एकेडमी में. There was a very large amount of skill sets that was created. तो और फौज के अंदर आपकी पढ़ाई जब ऑफिसर बन जाते हैं उसके बाद भी खत्म नहीं होती. जवान भी हमारा जो आता है उसकी भी पढ़ाई खत्म नहीं होती. बहुत कुछ है. तो ये जब तक कांस्टेंट चीज आपके साथ नहीं रहती है तब तक आपकी डेवलपमेंट नहीं होती. और फौज में एक चीज और होती है, आप पूरे भारत का दर्शन करते हैं सरकार के एक्सपेंस पर. आप देश के हर कोने से परिचित हो जाते हैं, कहां पर क्या है, कहां के लोग कैसे हैं. बहुत अच्छे तरीके से आप जानने लगते हैं. और साथ साथ क्योंकि आप अलग अलग जगह पर रहते हैं, कुछ आप अलग अलग भाषाओं के अंदर भी पारंगत हो जाते हैं क्योंकि आपके ट्रुप्स अलग अलग जगह के हैं, आप अलग अलग जगह पर सर्व करते हैं, तो आपकी लैंग्वेज स्किल्स भी अच्छी हो जाती हैं. और एक चीज़ को और मैं कहना चाहूँगा जो फौज के बारे में, जैसे फौजी फैमिली होती है वैसे ही फौज है. फौज एक परिवार है और उसके अंदर एक परिवार की तरह ही नाता होता है, परिवार की तरह ही रिश्ते होते हैं, चाहे जवान हो, चाहे ऑफिसर हो या आपका सहपाठी हो. रिश्ता वही है जो कि एक परिवार के अंदर होता है. और इसीलिए जब कभी कोई आपदा आती है, कोई त्रासदी होती है, कभी कोई मुश्किल काम होता है, तो हम कहते हैं हमारा सिविल इंतजामिया काम नहीं कर सकता, फौज को बुलाइए. That is why it succeeds. It succeeds because we do not bind ourselves in religion, caste, creed, anything which is narrow. For us, nation comes first. For us, the flag comes first. For us, how to ensure that we can bring honor and glory to the nation comes first. And that is why I think if you find some of us slightly rigid in our views, it is because of that. Thank you very much.
We must give a big hand to such a legendary personality who is sitting amongst us. And I would like to ask our panelists if they have any question in their mind personally to ask Minister who is sitting in front of us. So if they want to ask any question, perhaps Dr. Makkar is willing to ask a question to him. And I would also, I have two small questions. You were the Chief of Army Staff when Dr. Manmohan Singh was Prime Minister, and you became yourself as a minister when Pradhan Mantri Narendra Modi came as a Prime Minister. So what difference you found between these two governments, and when you were in the, a Vardi-clad 4-star general, and when you became a khadi-clad, leader, so how did you found yourself, was it comfortable to adjust in the politics from, the army background, or was it little difficult?
There's a tricky part in your question which I'll tackle separately, where you want to know the difference in two different leaders. I'll come towards the end of this. Let me first of all say that I did not come to politics by design. It just happened. It just happened because after retirement, और मेरे ख्याल से जो रिटायर हो जाते हैं उस चीज़ को समझेंगे, एक आपके मन के अंदर एक सवाल उठता है, मैं क्या करूँगा? आज मैं रिटायर हो गया, कल उठ के क्या करूँगा? परसों क्या करूँगा? आपकी जब तक आप रिटायर नहीं होते, आपका एक लाइफ का एक चक्र है जो चलता रहता है और आप उसी में घूमते रहते हैं. When you retire, suddenly you find, अरे ये सब तो खत्म हो गया है. What do I do? So that question was there in my mind also. And with that, after about 2-3 days of thinking over it, I decided that since For 42 years in the army, I've taken love, respect, accolades, and everything that the country has given. I think there is time to give it back to them.
Very true.
So,
Very true.
एक फैसला किया कि समाज के साथ जुड़कर समाज के लिए काम करें, और सबसे आसान था कि किसानों से जुड़ा जाए। अब आपके मन में सवाल उठेगा किसानों से क्यों जुड़ा जाए? फौज के अंदर 96 to 97% people come from the villages. They come from villages of India. या तो किसान के बेटे हैं या जब रिटायर हो जाते हैं तो दोबारा किसान बन जाते हैं. So I decided I must meet them, talk to them, and see if I can make some improvement. और इस प्रोसेस के अंदर गन्ना किसानों की कुछ समस्याएं थी, उसके साथ जोड़ा, और then towards the end of 2012 we had the Nirbhaya case, and that is the time I connected with the youth for various reasons on how to guide them. और फिर एक सिलसिला चला जिसमें उनके साथ ज़्यादा जुड़ने लगे, और साथ ही साथ एक फौजी होने के नाते एक मन के अंदर एक सवाल था कि एक और फौजी है जिसको लोग बाग जिसके कंधों पर चढ़कर आए और उसको छोड़कर चले गए, अन्ना हजारे। तो मैं 2012 के दिसंबर में उनके पास गया और मैंने उनको कहा कि आप भी फौजी हैं, मैं भी फौजी हूं, दोनों हम रिटायर्ड हैं, आपको लोग बाग छोड़कर चले गए और मेरी एक इच्छा है कि आपको दोबारा उसी स्थान पर लाऊं जहां पर लोग बाग आपको छोड़कर गए. So we discussed as to what I am going to do. So I told him that a particular roadmap I gave him. I had formed an organization by then called Jantantra Morcha. He agreed, and after that in January we started a Jantantra Yatra starting from Jallianwala Bagh. We did Punjab, we did Himachal, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and part of Bihar. And that is when, because it was a strenuous exercise, आप सुबह 6-7 बजे शुरू हो जाते हैं, रात के 12-1 बजे तक आपका, जब तक आप वापस पहुंचते हो कहीं पर 12-1 बज जाते हैं. साथ साथ क्योंकि ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के पास पैसा नहीं था तो हम लोग चद्दर फैलाते थे कि जो लोग कोई सुनने आए थोड़ा सा दान कर जाए ताकि अगले दिन का पेट्रोल और डीजल उससे लेकर गाड़ी चलाई जाए. वो बीमार हो गए, अन्ना हॉस्पिटल चले गए. 3 महीने के बाद जब वो आए तो उन्होंने कहा मेरी इच्छा है कि मैं अनशन करूंगा लोकपाल बिल के लिए. लोकपाल बिल के लिए वो बैठे, उनका समर्थन किया, लोकपाल बिल पास हो गया, and he was back where he was in 2012. And that day I told him my work is over, let me see what I can do. तो उन्होंने एक मुझसे सवाल पूछा कि भाई आप क्या पॉलिटिक्स में जाओगे? मैंने कहा जी इच्छा तो नहीं है, लेकिन मैं एक चीज के अंदर फंस गया हूं. और मैंने कहा वो ये हुआ है कि आप बोलते थे करप्शन के बारे में, मैं बोलता था सिस्टमिक चेंज के बारे में, कि सिस्टम के अंदर जब तक बदलाव नहीं आएगा तब तक देश नहीं बदलेगा. और मैंने कहा इस चक्कर के अंदर मैं लोगों को कहने लगा कि अगर पॉलिटिक्स में बदलाव लाना है तो आपको नॉन पॉलिटिकल लोगों को पॉलिटिक्स में लाना पड़ेगा. लोगों ने कहा कि आप हमको क्यों दलदल में खींचते हो, पहले खुद जाकर देखो ना दलदल कैसे है. That is how I landed in politics.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. So I would request one of the finest academic lady, Dr. Urvashi Makkar. She is director of IMS Ghaziabad. She wanted to ask a question to you.
First of all, very good afternoon to all of you, and it's such an honor to share dais with Sir, which we never expected, because when we were the part of this panel, we never thought that we'll be sharing the dais with you. Sir, thank you very much for that. It is an honor. My question is very simple, that we generation which belong to me, is a thread and a binding force between the young generation and what our country has witnessed in terms of the struggles of independence. At least हमारे माँ बाप ने हमें इतना घोट घोट के पढ़ाया है कि हमारी इंडिपेंडेंस की स्ट्रगल क्या रही. अब जो आने वाली जनरेशन है, बीइंग पार्ट ऑफ द एकेडमिक फ्रेटर्निटी, मैं ऑब्जर्व कर रही हूँ यंगस्टर्स को आज़ादी का महत्व बिल्कुल भी नहीं पता, क्योंकि उन्हें बिल्कुल गोल्डन प्लैटर पर इंडिपेंडेंस मिला है. तो हमारी क्या रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि हम अपने बच्चों को, आने वाली जनरेशन्स को, हम एटलीस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंस ऑफ दिस हार्ड अर्नड इंडिपेंडेंस समझा पाएँ, उन्हें सिखा पाएँ कि नेशन फर्स्ट का मीनिंग इन रियलिटी क्या है. मैं यहाँ सिर्फ एक पॉइंट ऐड करना चाहूँगी कि बीइंग इन द एकेडमिक्स आई हैव एन एडवांटेज एंड थाउजेंड्स ऑफ अदर्स आर ऑल्सो हैविंग एडवांटेज लाइक मी, क्योंकि हम लोग थाउजेंड्स ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स को इम्पैक्ट कर सकते हैं. आवर चेयर इज़ अ वेरी बिग चेयर ऑफ द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. तो हम लोग कोशिश कर रहे हैं, बट क्या राष्ट्र भक्ति या देशभक्ति की भावना सरकारों की मोहताज है? मोदी जी के आने से पहले इंडिपेंडेंस डे सेलिब्रेशंस कॉलेजेस में कैसे होती थी और आज कैसे होती हैं, उसमें इतना ज़मीन आसमान का फ़र्क है. आज हर घर तिरंगा का स्लोगन हमारे हर स्टूडेंट के हाथ में है. हर स्टूडेंट 1 अगस्त से स्वतंत्रता दिवस को मना रहा है हमारे कैंपस में इन द डिफरेंट वेज. लाइक जॉय ऑफ गिविंग वीक मनाया जा रहा है, जिसमें स्ट्रीट चिल्ड्रन के लिए कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशंस कर रहे हैं, ब्लड डोनेशन कैंप हो रहा है, ट्री प्लांटेशन कैंपेन चल रहा है. तो पिछले 1 तारीख से 17 तारीख तक हमारे इंस्टीट्यूशन में प्रोग्राम्स फाइनल है. तो इतना ज़्यादा जोश जो हम देख रहे हैं, मैंने इतना जोश आज से 10 साल पहले नहीं देखा था. तो हम, ये 2 मेरे डिलेमास हैं सर. नंबर 1, हमारी जिम्मेवारी क्या है, हम इसे आगे कैसे लेकर जाएं, और क्यों राष्ट्रभक्ति की भावना सिर्फ सरकारों पर मोहताज हो, वो क्यों नहीं हर कण कण में अपने आप आए, हर एक में एक जिम्मेवारी का एहसास क्यों ना हो.
आपने, लेट मी से दैट इट इज अ वेरी वैलिड idea that you have put through. I won't call it question. Let me start by a different track altogether. Just ask yourselves, all who are sitting here, what did independence actually mean to you? I don't want an answer from you, just examine it yourself. Now, as the country became independent, independence meant various things to various people. And let me give you one example. There was a small railway station somewhere in Uttar Pradesh. The train came immediately after independence. The train came, and the station master, a tall, burly local with big moustache, he saw everybody is going in, but nobody seems to be buying the ticket. So he shouted at the top of voice, "Ticket lekar aao." तो ट्रेन के अंदर से आवाज आई, अब तो अंग्रेज चले गए, टिकट की क्या जरूरत है. Now, I want you to think of this incident. I think independence meant various things to various people. There were not very many people who were okay. They were hearing the sacrifices, they were also taking part. It is not that people were not taking part in the struggle. But I think after the thing was over, they said, what does it mean to me? Today I am free, I can do what I want to. They forgot that the Constitution, when it came into being, and we declared ourselves republic, we had put down the rights and duties of citizens also. We had also put down duties of citizens. But that went down. And I think some of the problems that you have enumerated, some of the issues that you have stem from that. When you are not clear what it means, you will have a problem. Then the mind is not clear. And that is why, for a very long time, Rash Bhakti, patriotism, you name anything, it just meant 15th August and 26th January. Patriotic song हो गया, program हो गया, झंडा लगा दिया, salute हो गई, या कोई देश के साथ कभी लड़ाई हुई, हाँ जी, हम भी देश के साथ हैं, हम ब्लड देंगे, हम ये देंगे, हम वो देंगे, हम ट्रेन्स तक जाएंगे, खाना खिलाएंगे. It is over, it is forgotten. Now, look at some of the countries in the world which have gone through difficult times. I think there what people imbibed was different. What people imbibed was something which was to work for the nation for as long as is possible. I mean, if in 60s Kennedy said, don't ask what nation can do for you, ask what you can do for the nation. Have we asked ourselves? Have we asked ourselves? Leave this question with you. So, what has happened after 14 is the spirit of what I can do is being ignited. That is why you find this kind of a josh. That is why you find this kind of a participation. That is why you find people want to do something. That's why you find so many startups have come up. That's why you find so much more is happening. It is a feeling that I'm part of the nation and I must contribute towards nation's well-being. Now, it is, I think, for all of us to see as to how we can put that value. It is not only just the respect for the flag or respect for the leadership, but it is a feeling must come from inside you. This is my country. I must do something for the country. Till that time, you will have a problem. And it is not generational. That's why I gave you this example of what happened after independence.
Thank you so much, sir. I would request you to kindly stay for some time because we're going to talk about the global India as a global destination for higher education, and very senior people, others are sitting, so they might have something to ask to you or that might require your intervention also, or you may like to listen to their views how India could be a global destination for higher education. And maybe because you have served in several ministries, different ministries, still you are serving one of the very, very vibrant ministry, that is road and transport, something like that. So that is a kind of India's developmental model. If development is seen anywhere by every eyes, that is on the roads and transports, etc. So that is. So maybe is there any connect or is there any disconnect between these kind of developmental issues or maybe the governance and our higher education system, or how it requires to be make more connected? So that might require. So I would request Dr. Kumar Krishen, he is CTO, NASA USA, to say a few words, and if you have any question you can ask. Dr. Kumar Krishen.
In NASA, we don't speak without charts. A NASA person retired, sir, and he went home, and his grandson said, "Grandpa, what did you do for NASA for 50 years?" He said, "Give me a projector." I am not joking, this is the true story. Sir, can I have 10 minutes?
Yeah.
I will speed up, I promise. मेरा जूता है चाइनीज, मेरी हैट अमेरिकन, लेकिन मेरा दिमाग हिंदुस्तानी। I bring you from Texas. I'm from Texas, USA. And Governor Rick Perry designated me as honorary Texan. And मैंने बोला उसका क्या मतलब? बोला you will be ambassador wherever you go from Texas. Now, people don't realize that Texas is the 19th country in terms of economic power. So I bring you greetings from Texas. I'll go very quickly to paint for you the picture, how you can use some resources that you have outside of India called NRIs, like myself, to boost higher education and to bring students from all over the world to participate in education in India. That's my challenge, and I will do it very quickly. Let me go to the next chart. For me, I will quickly go through all this. We don't have the time. Next chart. Now, you know, India had at one time Takshashila University. I had to do research. I went to United States in 1965 January, and the impression of India was almost nothing, zero. So my family took the challenge to go through, integrate details of India's culture, contribution in many fields, and then to propagate the word in America. I'm not going through all that. So here is the proof. Takshashila, the first university in the world. Do people know it outside of India? Then you have 2,700 years back, this university. Next chart. Now you have Nalanda University, somebody spoke about that. These are things that are here. We had Vidya as the central theme in this country. The Vidya came with Satyam and Ahimsa. These three became the pillars of the Bharatvarsha's contribution to its own people and to the rest of the world. For example, this Takshashila, there was a Brahmin by the name of Vishnu Sharma, who went to Kashmir and wrote Panchatantra. Next chart, please. We have very little time, so I will go through. India is a land of all faiths and religions. If you prove me wrong, prove me. I can prove that all the religions are represented in this land. A land of human diversity. You can see it yourself. A land of languages. Thousands of languages, at least officially, probably at least what? 300-400. A land of saints and love. I listen to these saints, especially Kabir, you know. I say what you have to do today, do it now. What I teach this everywhere in NASA. What you have to do tomorrow, do it today. A land of saints and love. Love, pyar. Pyar is differently interpreted in the Western world compared to us. Our pyar is for our mothers, sisters, daughters, sons. We have a different interpretation of pyar, and it's not necessarily coming with a big return for our love. A land of knowledge and wisdom. Do I have to say more? I submit to you that this has been and will be a land of wisdom and knowledge. A land of innovation, maybe I'll hint to that. Next chart. So, why do we need higher education? Why? Here, I summarized in next charts. Earth is a changing planet. We could be hit any time from an asteroid. I'm going back to the previous chart. We are a connected system. This is not a separate planet. It's a part of solar system. Solar system is a part of Milky Way. We are binding ourselves with Andromeda. And the whole Antariksh could be also separately surrounded by other antarikshas. So my thoughts for the last 55 years, ever since I joined the space kind of thing, or in the middle of this antariksha. I'm thinking, what were our ancestors thinking when they gave us a time of, concept of time? Kala, उन्होंने कैसे define किया Truti, 1/10 of a nanosecond. The life of Brahma, 3.141519, the digits of pi, which means we proved that time is cyclic. So there are many things that are changing the earth. Next chart. You're seeing earth plate motion, there are earthquakes, tsunamis, floods. You're seeing floods. We got so much rain in 3-4 states in India. Look what happened. Who is going to do the needful? Who is going to broadcast the forecasts that are needed? And after the damage is done, how are we going to recover? This needs huge amount of knowledge. Next chart. I am going to have to go fast. Tornadoes, they are raging havoc in Kansas and places like Oklahoma in United States. Sandstorms, we have sandstorms here. One time I was in Delhi and a sandstorm came. Natural fires, you are seeing that happen. Hurricanes, they call them typhoons, and I can go on and on. I give a lecture on any of these topics. Next chart, please. Consequences of human actions, such as lack of resources. India has 3.43 or so billion people. And it is said that in 2024, sir, we will be ahead of China. Now, how are you going to feed these people? Clothe them, give them the necessary, give them the quality of life, education, etc. It's not a minor change. Even consumables like clean water, clean air, clean land, less pollution is a great technological feat. So human health consequences, viruses, cancer, heart problems, we haven't solved much at all. We were lucky we found some vaccine for COVID, and it took 8 million lives, and in India probably very close to what, 7 or so lakh people died. In America, more than 1 million people died. Next chart. I'm going very fast. For me, the greatest challenge of humanity in terms of knowledge, in terms of education, is to know what the antariksha is. What is time? What is space? What is material? What is energy? And how did life come about? यही इसी ड्रीम के लिए मैंने ज्वाइन किया नासा. Next one. So, what will save this earth? Education, knowledge, vidya. That is what. And India can take a lead. In many ways, India can take a lead. First of all, you see how Indians are shining outside of India, the NRIs, right? And you can depend on them. You can use them for the best part of the education system in India. Next chart. So now, the mysterious is the true science, and mystery has been the greatest component of India. We have always said everything is Maya, and I prove in my talks and literally any physics, mathematics, chemistry, biology, I prove that it is Maya. You know, NASA or any agency makes you to believe as if something is happening right now. It's not. It has happened a long time back. Next chart. So now I will skip, keep going, please. Next chart. So inspiration, imagination, inclusion, leadership. Leadership you are seeing here. Perspiration, all this is needed to go further in bettering the lives on the earth. There is not much time, but I will tell you this. Satyam, Ahimsa, and Vidya. These three systems that have been propounded here from time on. I have several charts, but I will stop here because so many, your patience should not be tested. But I will say this, that India is the right country, the right place to ignite the true education in the world. The discipline, the yoga that is needed, the discipline of ahimsa, the discipline of self-sacrifice. This is the nation that entire world can depend on. Thank you very much for your patience. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for understanding, and thank you for all your deliberation. Yes, there was a time when India was a global center for education. We had the first university of the world. Then India became the top senders of students to the different countries. The brain drain started, even to the NASA, and so many other global institutions. So they attracted our brains. They utilized our brains. We could not give them facilities. We could not give them adequate, higher education. Now again, India is again becoming a destination for higher education for many countries. And the challenge is, at one side, to keep our students in our Indian institutions and also to attract more, foreign students to our institution. And with this purpose, for the enhancement of quality, a lot of efforts are being done at the government level, at UGC level, at various levels. And the core of those all processes is implementation and faster implementation of new education policy 2020. I think that is going to make a big change about India's higher education system, and perhaps it will make India a surely best destination in the world for the higher education in the coming years and decade, I think. So with these words, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Parsanjeet Kumar, Vice-Chancellor, NIU, and with a question: do you think by implementing NEP, India is going to become one of the best destination for foreign students as a higher education destination? Dr. Parsanjeet Kumar, please.
Thank you very much. Honorable dignitaries on the desk, ladies and gentlemen, it is very proud privilege that we are here to be discussed that NEP and the consequences of the NEPs to the global education towards the India. Undoubtedly, we have declared that national education policy and internationalization of the education is the one of the prominent agenda of our national education policy 2020. As I'm leading the one of the universities in the Delhi NCR, just I'm going to face the challenges, what the kind of the situation is going to be sorted out. We are on the threshold where we have to be addressed and stand ourselves to understand the global scenario. Until unless we will not be understand the global scenario in terms of the academics, in terms of the skills and trainings, in terms of their geographical needs of the education, will not be able to attract the more global students towards India. Apart from these things, if you look into the general affairs, that we have to be liberalize our immigration policies with regard and with the help of their embassies. In the last couple of months, I had the 3 meetings with the different ambassadors of the different countries. The problem is come to that developed countries are not very lucrative to the India. Underdeveloped countries, developing countries, they are very open to India. We have to stand there. And I'm very, very happy that our government is taking very good initiatives, very energetic steps towards the global students and India to become a good center of the global education. If we'll talk about in that reference, that we can talk about that DST, it is playing a very important role in terms of the R&D. If we want to attract the developed countries students here in India, that we have to look into that what are the grassroots levels, the thrust is going to be addressed and how it is to be addressed. The foremost and features is comes to that we have to be stand on and on the infrastructure and facilities for the education as compared to the developed countries. Recently, I have the delegation from the Russian. They came and visit my university. We have the medical college, we have that allied health sciences, we have the nursing college also. They came and discussed that this should be such a curriculum which can be meet out the requirements of our country, and we are ready and we are amending to that. So if I'll talk about that, we are enough capable to attract the students from the foreign. We are capable enough to address the things and create the things. The need is that we have to be understand at large, at a grassroots level, so that we can understand the situations. Right now, we have to be focused on the more and more collaborations toward the internationalizations of the higher education. If I'll talk about my university in last 1 year, in view of the NEP implementations, I have done very, very rigorously work on that, and I got the 55 countries MOUs with regard to the different kind of the education, whether it is a medical, whether it is a paramedical sciences, whether it is allied health sciences, whether it is nursing, whatever it the requirements. Because if we'll go to the African continent, the demand and the requirements is the different. If we'll go to that other continents, the different and requirements is the different. So we have to understand these kind of the things. Only then we can attain the foremost objective of the internationalization of education, and we can attain the more global education, and we can be again the good center of the global education in India. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your brief and very to the point, deliberation with a lot of ideas, and you talked about how important is internationalization of Indian higher education system. Now I would like to invite one very important author who has written a book on Nalanda, Climax of Nalanda, Kal Chakra Tantra. He is an author, acclaimed author. He has written several other books also and has deep knowledge about India's higher education system. He is also a director in the government of India. I am inviting Mr. Niraj Kumar to address the gathering and present his views. Mr. Niraj Kumar.
Thank you very much, Omkareshwar ji. Respected Honorable Minister Sahib, fellow panelists, and all the participants in this conclave. I'll just take 6-7 minutes. It's a written speech, but it's basically data-based. Currently, if we see, thank you, the international education market is of the size of $200 billion. And that is expected to grow to $430 billion by 2030. But where we stand, I mean, there are 5 million international migrant students, and out of that, we don't have even 50,000 students as of now. So this number is going to grow, and there is an estimate that within next 3 years, the number of migrant international students will grow up to 8 million. So how we are going to make India the destination for higher education if we have got such a small proportion of students coming to us, and that too mostly from So I have just prepared a 5-pronged Panchvidha suggestion to make India a global destination. So I will just go through those 5. We can make India a destination for medical sciences for East and North African countries. Reason being, because we have a very flourishing medical tourism, and we are getting so many patients from there, but we are hardly getting MBBS students from same region. So if we have got such better hospital, then why we are having only 1700 MBBS students from abroad? Second is, we can make India a destination for geriatric care and nursing courses, both for Indian as well as Southeast Asian students. Reason being, the global market for geriatric care, it is expected to grow to $1.5 trillion in next 8 years. Third is, we can make India a destination for engineering courses for countries like Iran, Middle East, and Central Asian countries. And many of the engineering students, maximum students in engineering courses, they are coming from Iran. Fourth is, we can make India a destination for Buddhist studies, for growing global interest in Buddhism, and Buddhist studies can be projected as a science of mental health and happiness. Fifth is, we can make India destination for courses on integrated living for advanced developed countries, because there, mental health becomes important as the aging process as more and more people enter 60+ population. But to achieve this, we also need some structural changes within our university setup. We need to have career advice centers within universities for foreign students. We need to have dedicated service for them. Then we need to have proper health and medical center for them. We have to have visa advice center in the universities also, money advice center, and foremost, to add to these things, we have to make their stay comfortable. For that, like African students, if we want to attract, then we can't we have to avoid that kind of xenophobic feelings and racism. So we have to make their stay comfortable, then only we can say our goal is at present to attract 2 lakh students in India. But I think we can, by following this Panch Vidha model, we may get a better chunk out of those 8 million foreign students, which is anticipated by 2030. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Niraj, for understanding the constraint of time. You had prepared a 5-6 minutes, very good speech, and we will miss you, and we will request you to kindly circulate at least to our speakers and other experts. So we will read and naturally. And there are so many media people also sitting in this hall. If you circulate, they would like to publish as well. So thank you so much. And now I would request Mr. Anuj Agarwal ji to please come for a small brief ceremony of honoring our esteemed guests here.
This brings the conclusion of third interactive session that we had. And it was amazing going through and listening to all these eminent speakers from different walks of life. And certainly it has added many value to the understanding that we have for the new economic and education policy. Anuj Agarwal ji, Niraj ji ko smriti chinh dete hue, a token of appreciation and love and respect from our side. Dialogue India International Academia Awards का
वो वाई मी लाना इधर, वाई मी लाना.
हाँ, तीनों को बुला लेंगे, उनके हाथ से भी के सिंह दिलवा देंगे, ठीक है. And Dr. Kumar Krishen, CTO NASA USA, with Anuj Agarwal ji and Sarika ma'am. Awesome moment for all of us. A token of love from our end. Moving on to our next eminent speaker that we have, Priyanka Thakur. Priyanka ji, she is a model actor and Zee TV पे इनका एक महक सीरियल आता है. सोनी पे दिल ही तो है में आप इन्हें देखते होंगे.
वाई मी किताब लाना.
Next in row is Navratan Agarwal ji, Director, Bikanerwala Group. Dr. Urvashi Makkar, Director, IMS Ghaziabad. Anuj ji और सारिका मैम स्मृति चिन्ह देते हुए. And now the very special moment for all of us when सारिका मैम से आग्रह है कि प्रियंका जी का सम्मान करते हुए सारिका मैम स्मृति चिन्ह देते हुए. Thank you so much, Priyanka ji, for coming to this event to speak to us. Amazing. Why me? And this is a book, I think, written by Dr. Kumar Krishen himself, and he finds this a great opportunity to gift it to VK Singh ji.